What can we learn from the Tower of Babel story in the Old Testament of the Holy Bible? And how can we apply its teachings in today's society? I will give 4 sayings that I believe express the thoughts from then until now. They are: birds of a feather, flock together. Then there is, liked minds think alike. If you can't beat them, join them. And finally, why can't we just get along? In the Holy Scriptures of Ifa Literary Corpus, Yoruba Lukumi version, my ancestors, upon coming to the Americas, had to readapt traditional Yoruba Ifa scriptures and way of life to Western thought. This explains why the differences in Odu interpretation between Lukumi and traditional Yoruba exist. There is an Odu who interpreted the story of the Tower of Babel. The story was adopted and was given meaning by the African slaves in Cuba. The Odu is Ofun Batrupon. Interestingly enough, the interpretation gave a sort of understanding, much like the sayings listed above. Of course, it is expressed in a much simpler way, but when you take a simple expression and expand it, you can reach very far in the various meanings that it can possibly uphold. Analysis of the biblical story, along with its Ifa version, has led me to break down the Odu into these social significances: family, society, politics, and leadership. Relating to family members have to support one another, understand one another. And when situations or problems within the members of the family exist, all have to come together and tackle it together. Not just look the other way or their own way. There are many within the family who talk a good game, say this needs to and that needs to be done, yet no one does anything about it, or there is only one member with the courage and tenacity to address it, yet this individual in the family will become disillusioned or discouraged, seeing themselves alone, without someone of like mind and understanding to support and rally the troops with them. When this happens, this particular family leader, which no one wants to understand or recognize, leaves. The family structure suffers and is broken down because of it. Hence, members of the family must allow their arms to be bent and accept righteous leaders within the family. Support them and one another so that a strong base is maintained for the generations to come. Society, this we can all relate to with the saying, birds of a feather flock together. We can all recognize ourselves as being grouped in some way or fashion by race, gender, religion, interests, language, state, cultural traditions, and economic or intellectual stratification. And although within these groups even more groups branch out, what remains the same is the foundation from which they sprung. All want to be recognized, all want their voice to be heard, all want their differences to be acknowledged, which leads us to the next category. Politics. Here is where like minds think alike. Why is it so difficult to agree and accept when an individual is correct? Ego, alter ego, egotism, pride, selfishness, and plain old stubbornness. Again, just like the family, no one wants to compromise, allow for the arm to be twisted, and just accept the truth. Everyone wants to bid on their truth to be the best and only truth. This is going to happen, and because it does not benefit me, I will not support or vouch for it. Yet when you give more to me than I do to you, it's okay. I have to always have the upper hand. You will always have to allow yourself to be taken advantage of. I will bargain with you only if it is to my advantage and best interest. The outcome of this, we all know, is rebellion or war. Leadership. Today's leadership has to understand the needs, pains, and sorrows of its people within all its groups. And I believe that by addressing the pains, sorrows, and needs of the people, they can start to fix situations or help cure the diseases in society. The political leaders have to stop supporting criminal wrongdoings and siding with hatred, fueling prejudice, promoting discrimination. and applauding narcissistic behavior. They must get back to advocating honor, charity, and respect among themselves and others. They are the example, and if they become failures in their duties, everyone else will follow. God spreads mankind into groups and separates us by language, likeliness, and cultural understanding. He has forced us to learn how to get along with our group first, so that we can then get along with others. But if we cannot respect ourselves and the group that you are a part of, then how can you ever learn to respect others? We need not fight or go to war over our differences. We need to respect each other's culture, traditions, language, and religious inclinations, because we are all part of the same being, and no one race, culture, or tradition is better than the other.